I haven't made a video in a while. I guess that doesn't really bode well for my promise to myself to do this on a weekly basis. It's kind of having to do with the fact that I just sort of critique what I want to create too much, because I believe that the majority of what I create, or what I will try to create, is not of substance. What I mean by that is I just don't think what I do and what I have going on is necessarily worth delving into, because it's kind of just boring. So, it's why I've sort of been inhibited in my ventures of creating. So, but why then the video now? That's a good question. Frankly, I just needed, like, something to do. I just needed to make something, you know? I have to, like, get my own, like, version of therapy, which is, I guess, sort of talking it out to myself, and by extension create a video like this that helps me along with that process. So we are here. What I really want to talk about, what I wanted to talk about was, okay, let's start fresh. New subject of the video. Recently I've been in several situations which requires me to revisit past experiences and places and people that I wasn't necessarily comfortable revisiting and not necessarily ready to revisit, and that's because a lot of it I have put away and expected to stay on that previous chapter of my life. Not out of malice, just out of sort of exhaustion have I sort of shed the past and what it is, and sorry, and created for myself a little bubble of, like, solitude and peace without the distractions of the past. Yet they still manage to pop up in some way, shape, or form, sometimes by my own volition, and I go back to the past that I don't want to go back to. I think to myself, what if I could forget all of it, you know? What if I could forget the things that I don't want to be a part of me? Okay, like for example, like forget like all the people that were mean to me in the past, or forget all the relationships, or forget about like my disappointments and my failures. And what if that could all go away? I wonder if I would be a better person because of those things, or I wonder if I would be a worse person because of those things. I wonder how much of myself is in spite of the bad. Like, no matter how much has happened, how much is overcome the negativity. And then I think to myself, is it a good idea to wish that I didn't have those memories anymore? Frankly, the bad things, like, they plague me. I mean, not to sound hyperbolic, but they stay with me in some way, shape, or form. And I find it hard to forget about them. Rather than maybe use the word forget, rather make peace with the bad things and just sort of accept that that's what it was then, and let it be what it was, and let be what let be. I struggle very, very hard with that. That's why I come to those thought patterns of trying to wonder what it would be like to forget and what would become of me if none of those things ever happened. My sort of solace with that is that I am, I believe at least, a very strong person and very confident in myself. And what I mean by that is I can, be okay with being alone and being secluded, even though that's not necessarily considered healthy. I mean, I think I'm doing okay. I think that I can just look back on what happened, and it's taken me a lot to not feel anything about those things anymore or those people anymore. And I don't know if that's a good thing or not, but it is what it is. Where's my train of thought going now? I think in life, you have seasons, and not like winter, spring, summer, fall. You have seasons of life, i.e., parts of your life, and where you are a certain kind of person, doing certain kinds of things with certain kinds of people, and in those seasons of life, you're one person, and you're constantly changing, and to new seasons of life. If I can offer advice to people that are alone or who are struggling with feeling left out or abandoned or secluded, and they don't want to feel that way, or they don't want to feel the effects of being in that disposition, my words of advice would be that in these seasons of life, there will be people that will come and go. Frankly, I think that they will forget about you. And let me finish my thought here. In seasons of life, friends and acquaintances and love interests will come and go as these seasons go on, and will continue to do so. And the only way to overcome that loss that you cherish with that person is not to, well, for one, to understand that in seasons of life, these changes happen, and it's just only natural that they happen. The second thing is to not focus on what was lost rather than what you had. And third, I would say that because one door closes doesn't necessarily mean that all other doors will be closed too. Again, the seasons of life and the seasons of you offer brand new things, just as the real seasons in the real year, things die and they grow again, and they die and they grow again. So don't feel like you're alone. If you think the way that I think, you learn that really what it comes down to is that the few permanent things are yourself and what you believe in yourself and your family. So I think that those are the things that you should cherish most. At least that's what I cherish most. And don't be afraid to trust people and to let people in and to reach out. And don't be afraid to go back to those times, or like to rekindle connections with people, because you might find that some of those people have been feeling the same way that you're feeling, and they might want to reconnect with you too. The point is, just go out and do whatever you want with whoever you want to, and focus on the moment of here and now rather than the past or the future. And I believe if a lot more people think like that, we will have better perspective in life. Let me also add that, at least in my personal experience, it is a good thing to reach out to people that you might think are feeling that way too. And they might push you away a lot, and they might shut down, and they might not be open with themselves, and it's frustrating. But that's, at least in my experience, that's because in the past, a lot of things and a lot of actions and a lot of events that happened to that person caused them to be less trustworthy with opening up to people and giving information, because they've been burned a lot by people or things or happenings or whatever. So it's good to be there despite how hard it is. And I find that if you can work through that, you can find somebody that might very well give you a brand new perspective and ultimately enrich your life. Because I find that the people that are the most damaged are the most just extraordinary. So I understand that this was more of a somber video, but I think that's what's been weighing on my mind most recently. I like to sort of talk like that at the I mean, it helps me at least reconcile my own thoughts and my own feelings. But if you did like the video, please tell me, and just like or subscribe or whatever the people say at the end of their videos. And I will see you hopefully sooner than, a few weeks, because it's just really cathartic to speak, really, just to anything. So yeah.